Other interesting cultural news, you have Patrick Bet David on Trump's lawsuit going viral. Now, this is a bit of a long quote, but he kind of breaks down a lot of the costs associated with it and what he thinks are the implications. So it's a little bit of I was going to say, I don't think I could do his accent. It's not too hard. Nah, I was going to say, so I'll just go ahead and dive in. So Patrick Bet David says, quote, let's do the math. President Trump has been ordered to pay $83 million and $354 million. Combined, that's $437 million, including interest, would be another $100 million. His net worth is estimated between $2 billion and $2.6 billion. That's estimated to be between 21 and 27% of his net worth. However, experts have claimed that Trump has somewhere between $600 million and $700 million is in cash. Trump has said that he only has $400 million in cash. This may seem like a lot to an average person, but it's not when you're being asked to pay $537 million plus interest. That doesn't include the legal fees that have been piling up, as well as the fines to his two sons have received. If he chooses to appeal, he would have to secure a bond by putting up 10% of the total amount owed. That would be $44 million, which he may not get back. In other words, this is nonsense decision, and an insane dollar amount by the judge could deplete Trump's savings anywhere between negative $137 million and $167 million. Love him or hate him, that is what it means. 1. 30 years ago from now, a woman can come out and falsely claim allegations against you, and if the judge hates your politics, they will believe her and make up any number to destroy your life savings. 2. If you build your wealth through real estate and pay back all your commitments to banks, buyers, and sellers, a judge who hates your politics could make up any number and deplete your life savings and prevent you from doing business. So what does this do to capitalists and those who with aspirations to run in the future? 1. Scare the crap out of great future candidates. 2. Eliminate anyone's family from supporting their father or mother from running. 3. Distance family members from those who choose to run to avoid being sued. Notice which of some sons Trumps get sued and who don't. 4. Make the candidate rethink why they would ever choose to run in the first place and ruin the lifestyle of the rich and famous they once had. Or, last but not least, it could energize an entire new generation who love America to realize how much trouble she's in, to fight like hell and defend the values of the nation was built upon. This requires a certain level of courage that words can't describe. This won't be a fight for everyone. You're going to have a few screws missing to get in the fight. But what is freedom worth to you? That's the most important question to ask. God is good. Future looks bright. Unquote. Getting, geez Louise, 100,000 likes, which is quite a few to say at least, and 8.2 million views in the first 48 hours of posting, which is quite a bit to say the least. And absolutely true. When it comes to the whole issue with the New York lawsuit, I mean, everyone agreed to the terms. So Trump said, hey, I think the building is worth this much. The bank said, well, we think it's worth a little bit less. Do you have anything that can secure this? He says, yeah, I have this collateral. I think it's for this. And the banks, they actually testified. The financial firms said, yeah, we were happy with this situation. We all made money on it. So everyone agreed. Everyone made money. And now he's being sued for $350+ million in that instance. And that other gal, I mean, watched a couple of interviews of the girl who's accusing him. She's got, what's a nice word of saying crazy? She's extremely mentally vacuous, to say the least. I mean, and there's no proof either. So decades later, you just have hearsay. Nope, no proof. So I think this will absolutely have a ripple effect on, making people question if they should ever push back against the machine. Should they even try to get into politics? I mean, should he even do business in New York at this point? There are a lot of companies starting to pivot and wonder, is it really worth the risk when a judge could just take everything away under false pretenses? Now, going to the comments section, maybe there will be a couple of contrarians who chime in. I'm kind of guessing most of them will be in agreement to my statements, but let's dive in and find out. First one comes from Paul Zazupa. He says, quote, if they can do this to an innocent President Trump, they can do this to all of us. That's why we're voting for him this November is more important than ever. So is electing a Congress that will support Trump's America First agenda, unquote, getting 629 likes. Feminology says, quote, oh, these Louise, touch screens can be so annoying sometimes. She says, quote, you should interview a panel of leaders and realtors against this egregious ruling, unquote, getting 1.9 thousand likes. We do have some contrarians. Our favorite leftist, Luke Zaleski. Well, not really favorite, just follow him so you can get some additional data points and learn a little bit more about opinions that are a little bit more different out there, just to make things a little bit more interesting in life. You always want to gain more opinions than less. Now, Luke Zaleski says, quote, everything has to be a travesty of justice, and Trump has to be the persecuted victim, and everyone who points out his fraud, abuse of power, and criminality has to be a villain, and nothing can just be what it is because their king is a con man and their kingdom collapses. Now, granted, I think it's mentally vacuous, but 918 people did agree, or in this case, like that particular statement. Now, interesting, if I click it, I'll see who responded. Let's see here. Let's see. Conan the Barbarian, though I don't think it's actually Arnold Schwarzenegger, but nevertheless, this alleged Conan the Barbarian responds to him saying, quote, with your great wisdom, will you tell me who was hurt in the civil case in New York? How do banks evaluate and loan money on properties? Why would the banks defend him in court if he did something wrong? Unquote. Getting 19 likes. Well, 18, but then I did like that statement as well. Also, fellow reminder, I am on the X Twitter under The Topping Show. Let's see here. Though we do have someone by the name of Barry Aycock saying, quote, exactly, he's been in criminals for 77 years. People are just late to the party, unquote, getting 12 likes. And a lot of people saying he's butthurt. I got 10 likes. Going back to the general comments from Patrick Bet-David, Jesper Hawkins says, quote, when you campaign on the draining the swamp, it's all over. When the politicians and the corporations feasting on taxpayer dollars are threatened in a real way, this is what you get. This is why they're trying to destroy Trump in a way we've never seen before in history, unquote, getting 4.1 thousand likes. And can't but think, I mean, I've been following politics for a few years. I remember, truth be told, when I was a child, I remember how mindless I thought some of my classmates were in 6th grade. When you had, what was it? Yeah, the 6th graders, you had 2 lines after recess to line up back in the class, and people would actually align by political association, and the kids were just screaming Bush and Gore. But none of them could actually tell me, like, why do you like this person? I mean, an overwhelming majority of the time, they're just say, oh yeah, my parents like this person. I'm like, okay, but why are you cheering him? So a lot of them were just parroting. And again, kids start off doing that, but I mean, throughout these years, I've never seen anyone so venomously targeted like Trump has been. And I mean, it's gotten to the point where it seems pretty politically motivated. Because again, they also chose not to do this until now. For the real estate thing, why didn't they bring these things up decades ago? Oh shoot, why didn't they bring these things up 3 or 4 years ago? All these court rulings are all happening during election season, which is constraining not just Trump's resources, fiscally speaking. So again, he's having to spend a lot of money fighting these cases, but it's also physically he has to be in some of these places, thereby limiting his campaign resources with his time, his physical locations. It means he can't campaign there, be there as much. I mean, has that ever happened to another candidate in history? As far as I can tell, I can't think of anything that's happened quite like this. Especially the thing that got me especially fascinated and starting to see more and more of the unfair political prosecution of Trump is, well, the classified files. They all have classified files, and yet Trump is the only one who's criminally charged. Biden had files in his Corvette in a garage. Obama had files. You had Hillary had files. Even Mike Pence, who's Republican, he had files that were improperly stored. They all had improperly stored files, but only Trump was brought to court. But they all did the same thing. Again, you should have one standard. If you're going to have any standards, you have to have one that's equally applied. If you're going to go after him for that, fine, but you have to go after everyone for that same thing. And yet that's not what we're seeing more and more. So we'll go back to the comment section. Mr. Pismo says, quote, there will be a great giant, sorry, let me see here. There will be a quote, giant, oh, it's a quote within a quote, awkward as hell, but nevertheless, there will be a giant sucking sound as businesses leave New York and reincorporate elsewhere, such as Texas. Just ask Elon Musk about Delaware. I'm quoting 7.7 thousand likes. And yes, very true. Businesses are going to be leaving in droves. And spoiler alert, they're going to go to places that are attractive for businesses. Places that have low taxes, or in some cases, no income tax, which, again, is pretty darn nice. I can't fathom going back to a state that has an income tax. I mean, once you have that benefit, it's near impossible. Even if you're making the same amount of money at the end of the day, just the thought of the state stealing some of your income when they already have so many revenue streams, yeah, I can't go back to that. Going back more, you have Brian Gomiski says, quote, the moral here is don't do business in New York and then run on the Republican ticket, unquote, getting 249 likes. Rain says, quote, pray for Trump. I don't know how he does, end quote, getting 1.4 thousand likes. Brian Tyson says, quote, watch hashtag Tucker Carlson, latest video, and you'll know all why. We are living in a military state, not a democracy, unquote. That got 6.7 thousand likes. So it looks like an overwhelming consensus. It'll be interesting to see, again, all these lawsuits mounting up. It's becoming more and more of a cultural issue. You're having celebrities bring this up. And Patrick Bet-David is an entrepreneur. He has his own podcast, and a lot of people tune in. And he has some great interviews, interviewing people on the left and the right side of the political aisle. And truth be told, I find them mostly fascinating. And it's going to be, I think you're going to see more and more of this hot topic being brought up. I think more and more people who are politically in the middle and folks that aren't traditionally involved in politics or someone who only maybe votes every 4 years, I think they're going to start to see some of these discrepancies on how these presidential nominees are being treated and how there seems to be an unusual amount of focus and venom and political persecution against Trump. But as I always say, time shall tell. Thank you again, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, I'm trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so you can click that button. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a comment, thumbs up, thumbs down, or sharing it is also a great way to give me some additional feedback and help the channel grow. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.